Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we'll be going over the features and some general workflow tips for our latest add-on, Altap Easy Fog this second. We'll start with the installation, so for anyone who's ever installed a Blender add-on, I suggest you skip to the next chapter as the method hasn't changed ever. But for everyone else, if this is the first time you're ever installing a Blender add-on, you want to go here to Edit, Preferences, click on Add-ons, Install, and then just locate the zip of the add-on, double click it. This is quite a big add-on, so maybe you'll have to wait a few seconds before anything pops up. Once you see the add-on pop up, you basically just want to click the check mark, and that should be it. Your add-on should appear on the N panel, so basically just hover over your viewport, click N, and just locate Altap Easy Fog 2. So we're looking at the main panel of our add-on. This is where you add your presets to your scene. So the toggles at the top are basically for filtering if you want to work with volumes or VDBs. The drop-down is for further filtering of the presets shown down here. Okay, that covers the top panel of our add-on. If we want the heart of our add-on to show up, we need to add in a volume. So let's start by kitting out this scene that Fluffy has prepared for me. So I'm just gonna start by adding in a general fog. Click on the preset and then just click the Fog It Up button. You can see it added a volume into the scene. Now, it's important to say the volume gets added wherever you placed your 3D cursor. So if I just move it up here and click Fog It Up, it's gonna spawn in the asset there. We tried to standardize all of our presets to the size of 10 by 10 by 10 meters. So it's important to just take note of that. I'm just gonna delete this one. Just gonna move this one up a bit. Now, as you can see, a second panel just popped up. Now, before diving into what all of these parameters do, I'm gonna just point out this pin button because it's a very important button. As you can see, while working on your scene, you can very easily click off your volume and that just hides your whole panel here. So if you don't want that to happen, you can just easily click the pin and then you can work on your scene without losing your quick controls of the fog. One of the most commonly received criticisms about the Altap Easy Fog 1 was the manner in which the controls were displayed for the user to play around with. It just wasn't clear enough, and we fully acknowledge that. To be quite honest, Altap Easy Fog 1 was basically just a real quick throwaway project that we didn't plan on selling, really. But then to our surprise, to this day, it's the most sold product of ours ever. And that's why we decided to just basically clean up our act and actually do it properly this time. In the second version, we decided to group all of the controls into modules. So if you want to control anything to do with density, you just drop down the density tab and you have everything you want in one place. Same goes for color, mapping, and then there are other categories we'll come to later. All right, let's just jump into it. Under the density module, you will find a global density slider that just controls how dense your volume is. Under that, you will find the density distribution ramp. The darker the color, the less dense your volume is. So if you want to just raise this denser fog up a bit, all we have to do is just raise the brighter values on our distribution ramp. And as you can see, we got the desired effect. So basically you have how dense is it and where the density actually shows up. Moving on, in the color tab, you have a color picker, so you can recolor your volume, and the absorption as well, so you can just recolor the more absorbed areas of your volume as well. We also expose the hue, saturation, and value for just easier tweaking. So yeah, that mostly covers it. And then you also have the mapping, so you can easily tweak the whole volume as you see fit. If you're familiar with the mapping node in the shader editor, this should be pretty self-explanatory. Okay, I just switched the scene in order to showcase some of our other features. This time I'll be using the Magic Puff 6 preset. We've already gone over the density module. In the color module, this time you'll see a bit of a change. Instead of just a color socket, now there's a ramp. You'll also find the addition of an emission slider, as this preset is made with emission in mind, so we can control the emission from here as well. Other than that, you have your noise texture settings, so we can change our seed, the scale, so you can change the scale of your noise, and we can get some pretty crazy effects. And the mapping, pretty much the same as before. Wherever you see a pink value like this, that just means it's being animated. So if we play this sequence, we can see the volume is animated by default. In order to change the speed, you can just click on it and just insert a different number, a higher or lower value. That just means every frame the value gets changed by this number here. So if we want to make it move faster, we just need to increase the value in the parentheses. So let's say 2. Now this is just way too crazy for my liking. In order to delete the animation, we can right click and just find the delete driver button. That covers mostly everything you have to know about working with volumes. Now let's move on to VDBs. Okay, so with VDBs, if we're talking about explosions or anything that has fire within the preset, we'll find the density that only has one slider. We can't really distribute the density with VDBs because they're a pre-baked volumetric preset, if that makes sense. So you're only gonna find the global density slider, and that only controls the smoke part of the preset. And we have the smoke color, which is again pretty self-explanatory. We can recolor the smoke in any way we want. So under the fire settings, we'll find the global emission slider that just makes everything a bit more emissive. Or a bit less emissive or non-emissive at all. And then we have the fire color, which is done by a color ramp, so you can recolor the fire in whatever way you like. I'd like to mention that clicking on these gets pretty annoying sometimes, so you can also just use the picker from the bottom and just slide them around like this. Once you're satisfied with the gradient you've set for your fire color, you can then move the whole gradient instead of just shifting the values like this, which can be pretty tedious. Let me just undo that. You can use the color offset slider that does just that. So we can just slide everything to the left.
Slide to the left.
Or to the right. And you can see as we increase, we're starting to lose the lower part of the spectrum and we are left with only the orange and the yellow part. And similarly, if we start dragging it down, we are starting to lose the brighter colors of our spectrum. The last setting in the fire setting module is the fire distribution ramp, where if we take the black values and crank it up, we're gonna start to eat into the fire and then just replace that fire with smoke. So we can kind of think of this slider as being later on in the explosion, if that makes sense. So this just exploded and then this is like a few seconds later where most of the fire turned into smoke already. You'll notice that by doing this, we've lost some of the darker colors on our spectrum. That's where the color offset comes clutch yet again, and we can just drop it down to get more of a realistic and darker colors for the fire as it's burning out. I think that covers everything for the explosion presets. Then we move on to the smoke presets, where I don't think there is anything new that we haven't mentioned already. And then the last type of preset are clouds, and clouds are the only ones that work a bit different. If you want a full in-depth look into how the cloud shader is set up, I strongly suggest checking out Arganian's Puzzle Boxes YouTube video where he does just that. Now, as the cloud material is set up a bit differently, mainly that being that it's using the light path node. What we want to do for the clouds to start looking realistic, we want to go to the render settings under the light paths, make sure to drop down the max balances and find the one that says volume. Now, I wouldn't really go above 32 as already this is going to be very intense on your computer. Let me just delete the VDBs that we no longer use. Now, as you can see, it looks like the cloud has disappeared, but that's just because I don't have any lighting in the scene. So let's fix that by just adding in a sky texture. And now, as you can see, the cloud looks very much realistic. Let's just see what happens if we turn the bounces off. You can see how this completely destroys the realism. So make sure you at least have it on 8, but I really prefer it at 32. So that about covers everything we had to go through. Hope you liked the video, and if... what's going on?
Hi guys, Jan here, also known as Fluffy or Fluffy Vibes. I'm the other half of AllTab, and today I'm here to pick up a few pieces that sat left out in the previous segment. The first thing I'd like to cover is the UI scale. Over here on the end panel, as you can see the preview images, these vary depending on the screen resolution that you're rocking on your monitor. So the way we can change that is we go to Edit and Preferences. We locate AllTab EasyFog 2. You can also use the search bar over here. You drop it down And over here we have the global image preview scale. You can just drop down this value to get smaller image previews, or you can raise it up if you need so. Another thing I'd like to point out is that it's pretty smart for you to turn off the volumes when you're not using them. Volumetric lighting in general is one of the heaviest computing your GPU can do. So when you don't need the effects, it's pretty smart for you to turn it off. You can do so just by toggling the whole collection's visibility. This way, in the viewport, you'll get better performance. You'll be able to make more creative decisions on your scene. And when you want to make modifications to it, you can just toggle it back on, let it denoise, and you see the whole scene. Another thing I'd like to show you is you don't have to use the presets from the end panel or from the add-on itself. You can also add them to your asset browser. The way we do that, on the downloads page on Blender Market or on Gumroad, you will have a file called Alt-Tab EasyFog 2 asset browser, and you want to put that file in a folder where you know you will keep it and you won't delete it or move it. So what I have set up is just a folder called asset browser. I've created a separate folder in there called Alt-Tab EasyFog 2, and I'm just gonna put the downloaded file in there. Just keep track of the file path. Then we head back into Blender itself, go top left, edit, and preferences. Go under file paths, click this little plus button over here, locate your folder, and click add asset library. We can now close this out. We want to split our view, and now if we click this drop down over here and select Alt-Tab EasyFog 2, we have our presets. As you can see over here, we only have the volume presets. As of a current limitation of Blender, VDB files don't get packed into blend files, so we can't add those to the asset browser itself, but you can still use the volume ones. And the way it works is very simple. You just drag and drop the presets you want to use into your scene, and all the material and other properties work just the way Sata described before. Another question I have for you guys is whether you like the big mouse that we've introduced in our previous tutorials. We saw this in Arendale's videos. They're kind of the god of geometry nodes inside of Blender, and we really like it. It makes following their tutorials really easy. So it's something that we thought we would introduce in our videos as well. Just let me know down in the comments below if it's something that's worth keeping. And as last thing, all the people that own Alt-Tab EasyFog 1 and would like to upgrade to Alt-Tab EasyFog 2, you guys receive a 50% discount code that you can use right now. I think that would be it. Thank you for watching. And if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. Other than that, hope you have a nice day and see you in the next one.